Hey guys, welcome to Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkovic. Today we're going to talk about instinctive shooting and where it differs from gap shooting. Now, honestly, I believe that if you're just starting out or you're getting into this, I think gap shooting is probably the best way to go because it is a form of aiming. Okay, when you're gap shooting, you're basically, when you're at full draw, you're basing where you put the end of your arrow in relationship to that target. So if you're, here's where you want to hit, you'll have this gap between here and here, and that gives you, you'll kind of memorize that gap. And it works fantastic. Gene Wenzel once wrote an article, "No Shame in Aiming." Been incredible. So there's nothing wrong with that, and I think gap shooting would probably be the best way for most people to start out and get going. Instinctive shooting, a lot of people mistakenly think is snap shooting only, where you're going to come in, you're going to put that arrow on, and you're going to boom, and you're done. Okay, boom, and you're done. That's it, real quick. Boom, done. That's not instinctive shooting. It has nothing to do with it. That's snap shooting, and there's nothing wrong with snap shooting. Some of the best archers I know are snap shooters. You know, Steve Teray, the guy's just insane. Puts an arrow on, gone. Gone. Look at Schultz, look at, you know, all that kind of stuff. These guys are amazing. Steve Angel used to shoot that way a lot too. I mean, a lot of guys are phenomenal snap shooters. That's still not instinctive, okay? Instinctive is where you're not paying attention to where that arrowhead is, and you're not using a gap, you're not using any other aiming method. You're basically picking a spot with your eye, and you're looking right at that spot you want to hit, and you never take your eye off of it, and you're just burning a hole in it, and then that arrow comes in. As you draw back, that arrow comes in and gets into line, but you never take your eye off of that target. You're not like looking and going, okay, where am I at gap wise? Okay, 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 no, right there, no, right there, no. There's none of that. Okay, if you're watching my eyes. Okay, gap shooting comes in, they line up and they go, okay, all right, we're about right there, and then they shoot. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Instinctive, eye locks onto that target, comes into frame and shoots. It never, you never once look at that arrow. Now you know where it is, but you're not watching it. And you can shoot in darkness, you can shoot anywhere, it makes no difference because you're not concerned with what that gap is. You don't care if you can see the arrow or not. Reason I started shooting instinctive is because gap shooting was always weird for me, because if I used a different broadhead that was longer versus a field tip that was shorter, that gap would change. So I don't pay much attention to it. I never really gap shot. You may also find that when you start gap shooting regularly, you start shooting a lot, that you may just end up naturally transitioning into instinctive shooting where you don't need to know the gap. You're more looking for the flight of the arrow, which is burned in your head at so many distances, and you know it. Now, as an instinctive shooter, it's vital, if you're changing bows, that you are using the same arrow's weight and setup, so because that trajectory is your everything, so it matters. But I'm a very close shot kind of guy. I don't shoot beyond 20-25 yards for hunting situations. Mostly try to be under 20. That gives me that flexibility, being out to 25 because I misjudged. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. So I am not truly concerned with distance shooting. If I was, and I get out there, maybe I would put point on or more stuff like that. My point on for the back of my head right here, if I look at that, if I remember correctly, is like 35 or 36 yards. I think I checked it once about 4 or 5 years ago, but I don't care. I don't care. I just look at where I want. I'll show you what it looks like here for an example. Okay, so when you're gap shooting, watch my eye. I'm going to actually zoom this in a little bit here closer. Let's see here. Trying this on this camera. Let's see. All right. So if you watch my, I guess that didn't help much. Hold on. Let's just do this. Let me just tip this camera up a little bit. Hang on one sec. Let's bring you up a touch, and that'll work. All right. So if you watch my eye, when you're instinctive, it stays locked on. I see a spot on this little dirt mound that I want to shoot. I am locked onto it. My eye, if you're watching it, will never vary from that. It is going to stay right there. Never look at my arrow, never look at nothing. Now I can still hold, make sure my muscles are right, lock in. I like that because then if an animal's coming in, that's the reason I don't snap shoot. I want that control. If an animal's looking at me and I can be here and I go, oh wait, I'm not ready to shoot yet, and I can sit here and hold down that animal while I wait for him to get ready. So I like that factor of being able to hold. Plus it lets me get everything in order, and my release is horrible. My release sucks. So it gives me a chance to remember to come into here. I shoot kind of hybrid. I come in, I lock in, I may even dance around a minute while I find my spot, but once I'm there, I'm locked in, and my goal is to just then, when I release, pull that last little 1/4 inch and then release. So it's kind of almost a pull through, but I'm coming in, locking, finding what I want, whatever, and then before I shoot, it's that little, like that, to give it a little kick's what I'm after. So, but if I do this, I look at that spot, make sure you can get my eyes in here, make sure I'm not going to hit the camera. We're going to be good if I shoot. Let's pick that spot. All right, so watch my eyes. There it is. Just like that. Okay, never take my eye off of that target. Never look at where the arrow is. I never cared where that arrow is. It's just basically look at where I want to hit, lock onto it, and then when I draw, yeah, you'll still see me. But so it's look at that spot that I'm after, never take my eye off of it, and if I want to hold, I can hold. There he is, controlled. Wait, no, he's looking away. I'm still looking at him. There it is. Just like that. Instinctive. I mean, I know that arrow's there, but I'm consciously not paying zero attention to it. I honestly don't care about it. That's instinctive shooting. It does not have to be a snap shoot process. Does not have to be, I'm so tired of people writing a book, and I'm not saying a book like 100%, you know, a book, I'm using it figuratively, but everybody is trying to rewrite the book on traditional archery. It is a stick in a string. It's a stick and a string. There are no sights, there are no gizmos, there are no nothing. It is a stick and a string. Point it the direction you want, pull it back, let it go. That's all there is to it. Why overcomplicate it? So don't get caught up in all the little BS stuff that's there. Gap shoot, or, you know, for bow hunting, gap shoot or instinctive. That's my opinion. That's the best way. Split finger 300, I don't care. Arm tension, back tension, upside down. I don't care what you do or how you do it. Whatever works for you, use it. For me, it is instinctive shooting. And I used to do demonstrations, I think I said this in another video too, down at Double Action Shooting Sports down in Madison Heights back there when I lived downstate. It was on DeQuinder there. Their range was all dark, no windows in there whatsoever. I would put one of those laser pointers on the hay bales down there at the end, or on a 3D target in front of the hay bales, and I would turn the lights off. There'd be a bunch of people in there, and just seeing that red dot, you can see, you can't see your hand in front of your face, you can't see anything except for that glowing red dot down there at 20 yards. And I would take arrows, put them on, by feel, indexing the knock, boom, 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 and you go down there and it'd be a group that big right in the kill zone of that thing because of the fact that it's purely instinctive. I don't need to know where any of this is. It's all mental. Okay, it's all 100% mental aspect. As long as I can see what I want to hit, the rest of it I know naturally. I don't need my arrow in there. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, gap shooting is phenomenal. Okay, gap shooting is phenomenal. If you are a gap shooter though, and you are hunting from tree stands, make sure you practice from a tree stand too, because the gap shooting on the ground is different than the gap shooting from a tree. It will feel different. The animals look different on the ground. They look this wide. From a tree, they look this wide, and everything is weird shaped, and you're on this different angle. So make sure, you should always be practicing from a tree stand anyway, but if you're a gap shooter, it's even more important. Definitely check out which way works best for you, but for me, this is why I shoot purely instinctive. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the link below for the product of the week. The Patreon stuff is down there. My courses, everything is there. That Patreon account is going to be absolutely amazing. I still do all my normal YouTube stuff and my podcast. 2 videos a week on YouTube, 1 podcast a week, and then. But what's nice is with this stuff in Patreon, special member only videos, podcast content, everything like that that nobody else is seeing. So that's where I put all my deep dark secrets. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.